This is so cool. Cerise is going to come up and we are all going to join her in singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled
Good morning. My name is Jim Bond. This is amazing. You go and start a web page. You think you're collecting bricks for your chicken coop. And this is what happens. Parents, warn your children, Facebook can be dangerous. Okay, I got everything done except for write a speech. So here we are. We've got the Jumbotron. We've got the Women's League of Voters around here someplace. We've got the most of the sane people in Seattle. From what I understand, we've got quite a few Canadians here. Apparently they're a little worried about us. They came down to check us out. I don't really blame them. We've got Dave Ross who's going to be our MC. We've got 5 comedians for you. So, here we are. I have been asked over and over and over in the last few weeks what this means. And that's a really tough question. What I have been told, what I've been learning from the people in the Facebook pages, the people that I've had email communications with, is that you are all more than willing to set aside your own partisan beliefs to address the language that we've got going on in our culture right now. Yeah. So where we stop screaming at each other and actually start discussing the issues. That doesn't mean we can't do it with passion. That doesn't mean we can't do it with our last breath. But we need to stop calling each other names, stop disenfranchising people, and remind some people that the flag in this country belongs to all of us, no matter who. So before I turn it over to the distinguished Dave Ross, the one thing that I'm going to do is read you a quote from Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin, when he was, I think he was 81, 82 years old. Franklin actually is one of the founders and one of the framers. And at the end of the Constitutional Convention, Benjamin Franklin was not convinced that the Constitution was the best that it could be. And he was, at that time, he was in the habit of not delivering his speeches. So he wrote this speech. The speech was delivered by someone else, and it was written down by James Madison, who maybe some of you have heard of. And what Franklin said was, "For having lived long, I've experienced many instances of being obliged by better information and a fuller consideration to change opinions even on important subjects, which I once thought right, but found to be otherwise." Now, if Benjamin Franklin can realize that he didn't know everything, and that he could learn things from somebody else, then every single one of us should be doing the same thing. The only thing that I am going to ask you to do today, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, I'm not going to suggest who you vote for, but when we're watching people on the other end of the world put their thumbs in ink to vote, when they risk their lives to go and vote, and we leave ballots on our coffee tables for lack of checking a box and putting a stamp on it, is criminal. It's absolutely criminal. I stopped to get gas in the truck yesterday afternoon, and I'm dumping my litter bag in the garbage can. And the kid that had been at the pump before me, his ballot was in that garbage can. Gotta love it. Please vote. The one thing that I would like to do today is scare the crud out of Sam Reed. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the voice of sanity for the city of Seattle, Mr. David Ross.
It's October, and it's not raining yet. First, let me ask you that you silence all cell phones, otherwise you'll get 20 robocalls before this is over. Are you tired of the robocalls? Yes! Are you tired of the attack ads? Yes! But you believe in free speech, right? Yes! It's just that you're tired of idiotic speech. Yes! I have mixed feelings about taking it down a notch, because I make my living by ridiculing people who take it up a notch. But for the sake of a sane democracy, I am willing to take a stand. And so now, please join me in something never attempted before at any public demonstration, a whispered chant. The words are, "Take it down." So join me now in the first ever whispered chant. Take it down. Take it down. I can hear you. Come on. Take it down. Take it. Perfect! Congratulate yourself. The first ever chant that no one could hear. I want to declare that it should be possible to say what you stand for without being called un-American. To say what you stand for in public without being slimed for the innocent things you have done in private. Unless it involves the irresponsible use of Four Loko. You should be proud to wear the red, white, and blue, which I am doing today, no matter what you think about health care, or the income tax, or the soda tax, the property tax, the sales tax, the parking tax, or heart attacks. And we declare that we should be able to debate each other without destroying each other. And we are angry at those who every year hijack the democratic process to turn us into enemies, who use the airwaves to start a civil war instead of a civil debate. And we want it stopped. But getting angry at the people who make us angry would be a conflict. Then we become like them. We are the sane people. We don't let ourselves get angry, but we do let ourselves get mildly annoyed. We're mildly annoyed. Yeah. We're mildly annoyed. When I look at these campaign ads, I say to myself, the consultants who write these things must think we're idiots. And then when I see how well they work, I say to myself, maybe they're right. The only way to stop what's going on is not to play their game, to make sure the ads don't work by deliberately and defiantly ignoring them. Anytime you hear an ad that is not a candidate speaking for himself or herself, ignore it. When you hear an ad with the ominous music and pictures that look like mugshots, ignore it. When you hear that guy with the scary deep voice, ignore him. That guy can make anybody sound like a pervert. Dave Ross. For the last 18 years, he's been losing his hair, and that's just wrong. Apple pie. Once it was American, but now it's made with imported, undocumented apples. Come on, apple pie. What's really under that crust? If we ignore that garbage, all that money they spend will be for nothing, and wouldn't that be sad? So yes, we should be able to debate each other without calling each other un-American, but there is one thing that definitely is un-American, and that is when anyone uses intimidation to stop citizens from voting. No one should be telling anybody or any citizen or any group not to vote, because if we don't vote, it frankly doesn't matter what we think, because the people in power won't care. So here we are, taking a pledge to restore sanity. Right now, it's the people with the most money making the most noise. It's the people with the wildest charges making the most noise. But we say it's time for the people who make the most sense to make the most noise. So join me now in a chant for sanity, civility, and discourse. What's the first sign? Sanity. Say it with me. Sanity. What's the second sign? Civility. Say it with me. Civility. What's the third sign? Discourse. Say it with me. Discourse. It's time for the people to, with the most sense, to make the most noise, provided we don't do it in Belltown after 10 o'clock. Are you ready? Sanity. Civility. Discourse. We are not angry, but we are mildly annoyed. And we will vote. We will vote. Thank you very much.